Hey, happy Wednesday. And I am so happy to be here because we are going to continue on our 7 Steps to Freedom series. And this one's going to be really crucial and really powerful. And I think you guys are going to love it. But first of all, just wanted to introduce myself. If you haven't seen me before, I know that every now and then, my friends list mixes up a little bit, or people follow our page, things like that, because it streams to my profile and our page at the same time. But my name is Josh, and my wife and I, we are digital marketers, and I do most of the stuff that you see here, the posting, the videos, that kind of stuff. And my wife helps take care of things in the background, the customers, the money, the follow-ups. There's a lot of that stuff that she takes care of, and takes care of the house and the kids too. So that gives me the ability to be here and serve you. And so today I have a really important question for you. And that question is, do you actually have a formula for your success? Do you actually know the step-by-step process that it takes you to take someone from just getting to know you to actually being part of whatever you're doing? And how do they get through that process? So if you have that, great. This is probably just a refresher for you. But if you don't have that, then pay attention real closely, because I'm going to go quickly, step by step, through the actual process, the formula that is the secret formula to success. And I mean, I guess it's not really so secret, but I think it is, because so many people, they use it, but they don't even realize what it means, right? They don't even realize what it does. They use it because they're told to. But I want to give you a little rundown of what it means, what the steps in this formula look like. And then I'm going to give you a little something extra at the end that you can get to actually dive deeper in that. So stick around to the end. You can get that little nugget there. But otherwise, right away, we're going to dive right into this. And if you are here live with me, go ahead and throw a hashtag live or hashtag replay if you're on the replay. And let me know where you're coming in from. I love to be able to see where people are viewing from. I know I've got a bunch of different people that follow from all over the world. So definitely love seeing you guys here. But otherwise, so we're going to dive right into this, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And just making sure that my phone's picking that up. Okay, good. So one of the things that's so normally in the process that we take people through the stuff that we work on, usually this is the first step, right? This is the number one thing. But I switched it up in my videos because I felt like knowing your prospect and having a perfect view of your prospect was the number one thing, because when you have that, putting this formula together actually makes sense, right? And then you have an idea of how you can kind of tune this to your perfect prospect. And so when we're talking about the secret formula to success, what we're really talking about, which most people know what this is we're talking about a funnel. Okay. And I know that there's so many people out there that say, oh, you don't need funnels, you don't need this, you don't need that. But I want to go through a couple things with you real quick, just to help you understand where you see funnels in your everyday life. So I'm sure most of you have gone to a fast food restaurant, and when you go up to the drive-through, they've got, the pictures. Okay. And in those pictures, sorry, I'm I'm trying not to yawn here, but it's been an exhausting week. But so the pictures there, they show you just an overview of what it looks like, right? But what you don't see is the little letters there that kind of, the little stuff that shows all the different drinks and the snacks or whatever. But you see the big value meal, and that's the front end thing of like, hey, get your value meal. And then when you get your value meal, they say, hey, what size would you like? Okay. So the funnel is you getting into the drive-through. They got you in there probably from the sign on the side of the building, or an ad you saw, or a coupon you got in the mail. That was their little something they gave you, right? And so they got you in there, and you drove in the drive-through, or you walked inside, you see the value meal, and you order the value meal. They ask you what size. So normally they come with like small or medium. So you're like, make it a large. Okay. You're feeling spunky, make it a large. So they upsold you. Okay. And you'll hear more of these terms here in a minute, but so then they say, okay, would you like a hot apple pie with that? And you go, yeah, sure. So they gave you a little bump order. And then they're like, hey, is there anything else we can get for you? Well, no, not really. Okay, cool, great. Move on. And you go eat your food. So great. That's an example of a funnel. Another example would be like travel plans. Okay, so let's say you want to go traveling and you go on and you order your plane tickets, you order your hotel, and in the hotel they're like, hey, would you like to upgrade to the King Suite? Oh, sure, why not? I'll upgrade to the King Suite. Oh, would you like to add the VIP treatment? Yeah, sure, I'll add the VIP treatment. All this stuff that you do on an everyday basis is a funnel. When you get an ad in the mail, that's the lead magnet. When you go there and you actually give them, the ability that you drive through the drive-through, or you give them your information or whatever, that's the capture page. When you buy the main product, that's your, your front end sale, right? Your main thing that you're offering. And then when they bump you up to the next level, that's the upsell. And just like Adrian said, right? Power of the upsell, baby. Power of the upsell. That's right, brother. And so what we're going to talk about here and go a little in depth is just those things that you may not realize that are different parts within the funnel. And this is the secret formula to success. But we're going to break it down because you may just be like, oh, yeah, I've got a funnel. I send people to this page and they put their email in, whatever. But there's more to it. There's psychology to it. There's a reason why it's set that way. So let's talk about the lead magnet for a couple minutes. So the lead magnet is, or the freebie or the ebook or whatever it is that you're giving out, it's usually something that attracts the person to you. It's something that allows them to feel like you're providing them with something valuable, and they're exchanging something usually of low cost or low value to get that thing. Usually it's free, or maybe in the case of a very famous marketer out there that sells books, free book, just cover shipping, he's still making sales, but he's just covering his shipping costs. So those types of situations are very, very common. And that's something that you really, you see that everywhere. You see it on ads, get my social media playbook, get my pre-written emails, get all this stuff. There's all these things out there, but that lead magnet, how many times have you seen an ad and someone turns around and you're like, oh my God, I'd love to have that, or that's free? Like, yeah, I'll go put my email in and get that. And you put your email in and you get the email and you get your freebie. And what happens next? You were like, wait a minute, I had to put my email in to get that. So the lead magnet took you to a capture page to capture those emails. So you go into this capture page and they're like, hey, why should I give you this for free? Just give me your email quick. That's all I'm asking for, right? So you give them your email and they give you this freebie. So the capture page is important, and here's why. In the digital marketing world, if you've never heard this before, I'd be surprised, but they say, the power is in the list. The money is in the list. Build your email list. Email list, email list, email list. That is the only thing that you truly own in the digital marketing world. In the age of social media, you actually don't own your friends list. If Facebook wanted to, or anybody else wanted to, they could just shut you down and say, you're done. That's it. They don't give you back your account. You don't even have a list of your friends. You can't get anything. You're done. So now you got to go rebuild all that. Now, yeah, you probably know the names of most the people that you interact with most. So you're probably going to go add those people back and rebuild your list and all that kind of thing. But if you had an email list and you had everybody on there, it wouldn't matter. They shut down your social media accounts. You go send people emails. Hey, look, I got shut down, guys. Happened to me too. Yep, I'm part of the club. All right, sounds good. Let's move on. Let's move forward. So the email list is powerful. The only way to really get an email list is some sort of capture page. Now, it doesn't always have to be a web page. There are so many people that do so many different things. So a capture page could be, for example, a little pop-up. So maybe you are a partner with some sort of website and they've agreed to let you put a pop-up on their site to say, hey, want free marketing tips? Sign up here. Just put in your email. Boom. That's a capture page, right? That's a capture scenario. Maybe people do it in a Facebook group. I know my buddy Adrian, he's got a thing in his Facebook group that if you join his group, it's like, hey, give me your email and I'll send you some really cool workout tips. Awesome. Sweet. Boom. I still get his emails, right? So like, here's the cool thing about that is you have so many ways you can capture those. Now, the most prevalent way is to have a capture page built on some sort of funnel builder, website, whatever the case it is. Some people use self-hosted stuff. Some people use builders. Some people use whatever else it is. Maybe they built their own website or had somebody build it for them. Maybe it's a managed hosting, whatever the case may be. There's so many ways that can do it. I'll talk about a way a little bit later that you can actually get all of this included and do it all in one spot. But for now, so lead magnet into capture page, get that email. And the next thing you see is you get the front end offer. Now, the front end offer is generally something that's going to be low to medium cost, and medium to high value. So, I would say usually it's going to be low cost, medium value. Now, I say medium value because most of these things are going to be something that is valuable, but maybe not the heavens have opened and this is the greatest thing in the world. It's a starting point, right? It's something that probably goes along with the lead magnet. It probably goes along with what you saw on the capture page, and it's probably the main thing that these people use or that you are putting out there. So maybe you have your own program like Adrian does, so a front end offer might be a once a month one-on-one accountability coaching, or maybe it's some sort of workout plan that you go together and you do a one hour session and put together a plan. And then after that, you might offer something different. Okay. So you have a front end product, but a lot of people now that's one way to do it. Now, other people like myself, if you're promoting other people's products, you might have something in between the capture page and the front end product, and that would be called a bridge page. Now, a lot of people use bridge pages for a specific reason. Now, I'm going to give two scenarios. So scenario number one is you're an affiliate marketer and you promote somebody else's product. Take that in consideration. If you're promoting somebody else's product, you probably want someone to know who you are because you're going to be sending them emails. You're going to be sending them information that you want them to really understand that you are there to help them, that you're there to provide value, and you want to help them better their life. So a bridge page is perfect for that. And what you would do on a bridge page is you would basically introduce yourself. You would talk about the free thing that's coming, maybe give them a couple tips to make sure they get it in their email. And then maybe, talk about one thing that's coming up that they may want to look into. So for example, that front end product, you could maybe talk about that product a little bit, let them know that that's something valuable that they're going to want to look into, and then move on from there. So that's one scenario where a bridge page is really important. Now, another scenario where a bridge page is important is, let's say you have a paid lead magnet or a low cost lead magnet. So maybe it's a $7, entry into a challenge, or maybe it's a $9.95 shipping for a free book, or maybe it's a $9.95 trial for a monthly affiliate program. Whatever the case may be, regardless of what that is, a bridge page can help bridge the gap from going from a small paid item to a larger paid item. I know a good example is people that promote some of these high ticket courses. They usually have some sort of low cost training in the front end. And that's, they have a free book or a free walkthrough, or maybe a free guide or something like that. And then what happens is they do this bridge page to get into the front end offer, or they'll do the free thing, then the front end offer, and then a bridge page between the front end offer and the high ticket offer to talk about that. There's different places for everything, but typically you're going to see it, lead magnet into capture page, bridge page, and then front end offer if you're promoting other people's products. Excuse me. So and that's where it's powerful. For people promoting their own thing, a lot of times they'll skip the bridge page and go right into the sales page, right? The front end product, because if it's their product, they don't really need a bridge page to introduce themselves to themselves, right? So like in Adrian's case, he's the one who commented earlier. He probably would just go right into his sales letter and just, do his video and talk about his product. So there's a couple different options, but that's something that is powerful there. So we've talked about the lead magnet. We've talked about the capture page. We talked about the bridge page if you're promoting other people's products or want to segue into a higher ticket product. We talked about the front end product. Now we got to look at like the upsells, right? The upsell, the one-time offer, the, hey, now that you got that, let me give you something powerful. Let me give you something a little bit more expensive, a little higher cost, and a little more value. And this is a very common thing, and you see this everywhere, right? So we talk about the hotels. So the front end product would have been you buying the hotel room, getting the flights picked, all that stuff. And then the upsell is when they say, hey, you got a queen room. Do you want to upgrade to a king room? That's an upsell. Some people might call that a bump offer depending on the situation or depending on what the cost is. But most of the times things like that is an upsell. If you're upgrading to something, it's an upsell. A good example is there are other programs out there, like there's a funnel builder that does it when you first do the trial for their funnel builder. They upsell you into, hey, why don't you do the yearly? You might get some extra bonuses with that. So maybe you could say no to that, but later on you wouldn't get the bonuses. Some people call it fast action bonuses. Some people call it right now bonuses or limited time bonuses. So those are things that you can put in there. And so the whole point of the upsell is to give you an additional option to get more from the person that you're buying from. Now that could be this person's own courses, or that could be the affiliate product they're part of. So before we get into the last part, there's a little segue I want to talk about here. When we're looking at these upsells, one-time offers, things like that, there's how do I word this? Well, we call this thing a value ladder, okay? And imagine in your mind right now a ladder, just a standard ladder that you would climb up on the side of a building, okay? And on that ladder is different rungs, and those different rungs represent different value levels. So you have your front end product, or like your lead magnet, which is like the bottom rung, right? And then you have your front end product, and then you have your upsell, and then you might have a couple more in between there. There's no limitation to how many things you can have in this value ladder, but I would say recommend to keep yourself to a minimum, like no more than probably 5, because people don't want to be clicking constantly through all these different pages to go to upsell to upsell to upsell to upsell. And I don't know, for some of you that maybe do a lot of work on ClickBank or Warrior Plus or JVZoo, how many times have you gone through one of those offers to see what the value ladder looks like? And you're like, upsell 1, upsell 2, upsell 3, upsell 4, upsell bump 1, upsell bump 2, high ticket 1, high ticket 2, high ticket 3. Like it just keeps going. And by the time you're done, you're like, I am so exhausted from having to see all of these different offers that now I'm not even motivated to actually do anything with this. Like I feel like I was just sold to over and over and over, and it can get daunting. So I usually tell people, try to stick to like 3, but no more than 5. And the reason I say no more than 5 is because if you sell a front end offer and then you have an upsell, and maybe you got a front end offer with a bump, right? Then you got an upsell, and then you've got maybe another upsell, and then you've got a high ticket offer, and then you've got another high ticket offer. By the time you get to the end of that, you're probably looking at losing that person's interest. So you want to keep it concise and say, okay, maybe a front end offer and a bump, and then maybe an upsell or 2, and then a high ticket offer, maybe 2 if you have different programs, right? Or maybe it's an upsell for a high ticket and then downsell if they say no. Whatever the case may be, that's an important piece. That value ladder is so important, because what you're doing is if someone buys the first product and they get to that second rung of the ladder, then they've already bought something. So they're more likely to buy when you actually have them in that second level. And if they buy that level, they're going to go to the next one. Now, some people will say no to that one. And, some people just send them to the next one anyways, or they'll say like, okay, you didn't like that price. How about we knock off, 20% or 30% or 50%, whatever the case may be. And then they say, oh yeah, sure, cool. Next upsell, and they go to that next one. That value ladder is important because you take that person through a series of decisions, and they only get there if they take that front end offer. If they don't take that front end offer, they don't see any of the ladder. The ladder's gone, it disappears. So the importance is that you're maximizing your revenue per lead at that point, and you're lowering your cost per lead, right? So you're saying like an overall, right? You're saying, okay, my cost for this lead might be, a couple bucks, but if I can get X amount on this value ladder, then the next few leads I get, even if they're still a couple bucks, it's not going to be so bad. So that's the thing you got to look at, is how important is this for you to really provide someone with enough value and give them a valuable price too, that they're willing to continue to buy through that ladder and follow that along. So the value ladder is very important, and that's why we go through this process. And so all the way through this process, you've taken them through steps, a couple steps, and you've heard a hint about the next step anyways, is the high ticket offer. And most people, not all, but most people out there that are digital marketers have some sort of high ticket offer at the end of their value ladder. Now that could be a coaching program, that could be just a more in-depth training, that could be a financial system or whatever the case may be, or that high ticket option could be a complete done for you scenario where they say, hey, how about everything that you just did or everything you just saw, how about we'll just do it for you and be done with it? That's another option as well. That's a great high ticket option. I know specifically, and some of you may know this person, specifically, there is a program out there that it's $9.97 and they will literally run it for you. You literally pay this flat rate and they will put everything together for you. They'll set it all up. They'll go through and get everything going and get it ready. And then they just give you the login details and say, here you go. And then every month for 12 months, they run traffic to your offer. So yeah, there's a really, really cool, program out there. Now, I don't promote that program specifically because that's not something that I align with, but I will say that there's a lot of people that like that. And the reason they like it is because they are able to just pay the money, sit back, enjoy the ride, let it all get set up for them. They don't have to do the work. They don't have to do any technical things, and they're good to go. That's a high ticket offer. Another high ticket offer could be coaching. I know a gentleman that actually, that they do, sorry, I just got a notification that there's some things going on with my Facebook stream for my page. So hopefully you guys can still see it. If not, then we'll see what happens. But so another thing too is like the high ticket thing. You can go through and you can do like a coaching program. I know a gentleman that does a $500 a month coaching program. That's an option as well. You can do a high ticket training program where they get high ticket commissions on top of it. That's an option. So any of those are possible, but I will just say, absolutely make sure that you are providing your audience with something super valuable. So then that way it's not just like, hey, pay me all this money. You got to be able to provide that value with them too. So we're going to recap real quick and just go through this, and hopefully this all makes sense. And, hopefully that you can grasp this kind of stuff. So number one, have a lead magnet, something that's free or low cost, that's valuable, that people want. Send them, number two, to a capture page so you can capture their email and build your list. Number three, have that bridge page there if you're promoting other people's products or you want to segue into a higher cost product and, talk a little more about it. But usually that's for people who promote other people's products, like affiliate marketers. Have a front end product that's usually low cost and medium value. Have an upsell or one-time offer that's a little higher cost, a little bit more value. And then think about that value ladder. Think about what you're going to take that person through a process. Honestly, you could just have one front end product, one value or one upsell, and one high ticket offer, and that's it. You should always have a high ticket offer, but you don't need it. I recommend it though, because that opens you up for bigger commissions and be able to reach your goals faster and things like that. But as it stands right now, basically the way that you would go is you go from that upsell, maybe have another upsell or two, and then go to your high ticket offer. And basically the way that it works is you're providing people with more and more value along the way. And as they get more and more value, the cost goes up a little bit, but so does your involvement, so does your commissions, and so does your, just the overall success of your marketing. So that's the secret formula to success. Some of you may already know that, some of you don't. If you missed any of those, go back and listen, because I went a little bit more in depth. But here's something I want to just bring up too is, we talked about this situation, and how would it make you feel if you were able to have this whole system laid out in front of you in a step-by-step process to learn it in so much detail that you wouldn't have to actually go through and watch all these different videos. You'd have a resource to follow along and step-by-step training to be able to understand all of these principles more in depth. I mean, we're talking like being able to really understand the full psychology of this. So, how would it feel to have that? How would it feel if you could actually take all of the things that I talked about here and implement those? And you could probably do that in the next 48 hours, right? 24 to 48 hours, because you can go through this training pretty quickly. And if you're a good avid reader and you actually can read through the ebook and things like that, you could have this done in a couple days, and it's awesome. I did it in less than 48 hours. It went really, really well. And I was able to implement the strategies right away. And almost immediately, my sales and my engagements and my actual calls getting scheduled for people that are scheduling on my calendar immediately started to go up. Last month, we had our best month in business over the last 18 months. And we actually made as much in 1 month than we did in the entire year prior for our affiliate marketing journey. So definitely has done us a lot of good. And so if that's something you'd like to check out, what you can do is you can actually head over here. So 9to5freedomsecret.com. That's going to take you over to get the free ebook. And just like we talked about, all you got to do is just look at exchanging an email address and be able to get that free book, start reading that book. There is an offer to get some training that goes along with that book. Right after you get that, you're going to see a video from me as well. And here's the thing about it, right, is if you do nothing, right, then what changes, right? You don't have to do anything and nothing changes. Nothing gets any different. You just keep going along your path and you're good to go. And if you already know all these things, great, no big deal. Now, on the other side of it, if you decide to take action, then you get yourself a resource that you can keep forever. You can reference back time and time again, and it could potentially change the overall, course of your journey. You could start achieving your goals much quicker. You could start making more sales. You could start, doing the things that you've wanted to do with your life. So at this point right now, it's really up to you. You can go to that link, that 9to5freedomsecret.com. You can, check it out and see what it can do for you, or you can do nothing. The choice is really up to you. So as of right now, what we're going to go ahead and do is I'm going to leave you with that. I'm going to go ahead and end this live right now. I appreciate you spending time with me. Adrian, love you being here, my man. I appreciate you. And we will come to you guys next week with another video in this series of the 7 Secrets to Freedom. So have a great evening.